Today we're going to complete a single replacement reaction. The first thing that we're going to use is a copper sulfate in this test tube number 1, and we are going to put a piece of lead into that. Oh, it's very small. Apologize. So this piece of lead, if you look, we have shined it up so it's nice and shiny. So we're going to drop that into our test tube 1 to see that. If you notice immediately, there's not really a whole lot going on. A few bubbles occurring. This is we will have to time these reactions, and so we're going to let that set for a little bit. In our second test tube, we have a silver nitrate solution. This does react with light, so that we haven't put it in quite yet. So our test tube number 2 is going to have silver nitrate. From there, we are going to put a piece of copper into this reaction. Copper is a nice shiny metal. We're going to stick that into there. Immediately, once we put it in, you can see that you have a little something going on where it's turning colors, but nothing fabulously happening right now. In our second reaction, we are going to take hydrochloric acid. This is a 6 molar compound. And we are going to add a nice piece of copper. Remember, in a single replacement reaction, the metal, the lone solid metal by itself, will replace the cation that is bound if it is more reactive than the anion, or more reactive than the other cation. This is a solution of lead nitrate. For lead nitrate, we're going to put zinc. Zinc is a silvery metal. Here, we will be putting zinc into the last 3 reactions. So we'll put that in and see what we have going on for this. Again, right away, we don't really see anything occurring too crazy or dramatic. Some of these are timed reactions. In our 5th reaction, we have a magnesium sulfate solution. And again, we're putting a piece of zinc in. And so you can see no bubbling, nothing occurring. Remember, if we have bubbling, color changes, those are big indications that we have a chemical reaction occurring. In reaction number 6, we are going to put in hydrochloric acid in the test tube, and we're going to put some zinc in it as well. This is a 6 molar hydrochloric acid. And you can see right away in this one, there is bubbling that is occurring. Almost immediately, it has bubbles forming and coming up all the way through this. So we're going to go back and look at our other reactions and see what we have, because I told you some of these are timed reactions. Again, in our first test tube, we have lead reacting with copper sulfate. You can see on the test tube right now, there's some bubble formation on there, but we can't really see a whole lot other than some bubbles forming. This is our second reaction, which was copper. If you notice, it does not look like copper anymore in here. It is metal has changed colors dramatically for this, and this reacted with silver nitrate. So we're going to shake this really quick. And you can see now there is these floating particles, and the silver or copper that is in there is a has much changed in color. Very dramatic change. For our second reaction, we have hydrochloric acid with copper, and I'm trying to get that so that you can see that a little bit better. There are no bubbles that are formed. The copper still looks like copper. It's completely unchanged. If you shake it, there's no solids coming out of that. Completely unchanged so far. In our second reaction, we have lead nitrate with zinc, or sorry, 4th reaction. If you can see this, the metal is no longer the same color. It is turned a black almost shiny iridescent color. If I shake it, you're gonna see nothing's coming off, but we do have a complete color change of our piece of zinc. In our fifth reaction, we had magnesium with zinc. There's no bubble formation, nothing's changed that we can see. And in our first reaction, this one's going quite well still. Lots and lots of bubbles. You can hear it, and heat is being produced on this one as well. If we put it right here, we can feel that. You can also see that there's water vapor in the test tube here. And so what we're gonna do now, again, look one more time. We have some bubbling occurring on here, a slight color change for our lead. In number 2, our copper no longer looks like copper. In fact, we shook it and all that stuff came off, and it's reformed a new layer. So we actually have more solid in here. In this reaction with copper and hydrochloric acid, we see that there's no bubbling. Still looks like copper. Nothing's changed so far. And the reaction with zinc and lead nitrate, we can't shake it off like our second reaction, but it is breaking apart into large pieces, and they are black in color now and no longer silver and shiny. In our fifth reaction with magnesium, zinc and magnesium sulfate, you can see there's no change. There's no bubble formation, no precipitate change. And in our last reaction, which is zinc with hydrochloric acid, you can see that this is readily changing here. Remember, in a single replacement reaction, if the lone metal that we put in is more reactive than the metal or the cation that is attached to the anion, a reaction will occur, replacing the metal that is attached to the anion with another one. So if the reaction occurs, you will see a change. However, if the reaction does not occur, there will be no change to the metal that was put in or the solution itself. There will not be bubble formation, heat, color, anything like that.